This week, there was a song stuck in my head that I just couldn't seem to get unstuck. It's called Morning in America by John Bellion. It begins, 1600 on the SATs, said they get in me an SUV. I've been trying to keep up with all of these great expectations, so I keep on faking. Though intended as a searing commentary on the state of affairs here in the US, it also profoundly reflects the struggles that we encounter every day as we try to do right by ourselves and also meet the expectations of others. As a rising senior, I think I've been meditating on that topic for the past year, as I've been stressing about my grades, test scores, and extracurriculars, all while trying to keep pace with my absurdly overachieving classmates. In a worship associates meeting earlier this year, I griped that my acquaintances and I have a lot of drive, but not a lot of purpose. I've seen friends of mine sit through a whole day of school, go to 3 club meetings, get on a bus, go to their regional tennis match, get home at 11:30, stagger through their homework until they collapse at 4 a.m., and then get up at 7 the next morning to begin the cycle all over again. The schedules that my classmates manage to pull off are truly Herculean, but when you ask them about why they're maintaining such crazy lifestyles, they don't talk about their love for tennis and inherent interest in each of their advanced classes. They talk about their fears of not getting into a good college, of not measuring up to their other classmates, and of not being good enough. When I began my sophomore year of high school, I thought that the hardest, bravest thing that I could do would be to dare to take on all the roles that others expected of me, and that by doing that, I would become successful, and then I would be happy. Needless to say, it was a very challenging year. I felt like I needed to wear every hat, and so I did. But at the end of it, looking back at my efforts, there were very few things that I was proud of. I had silenced that little voice inside of me that questioned my actions and efforts, and instead chosen what I realized was the easier route, to accept the goals and values that others set before me and act blindly in the name of them. In America, it seems that success is invariably the goal, and though it always seems to be lurking just behind the next Ivy League acceptance, promotion, or sports car, it's never something that we're going to be able to chase down. Though it seems that catching success is the hardest thing for us to do, I found that what's even more difficult is detaching ourselves from the race. We're panic-stricken and distraught at the idea that we might get left behind or trampled underfoot, but when we have the courage to consider why we're running, we see much more clearly what's truly important to us. I used to think that the hardest, bravest thing that we could do was to live up to everyone's expectations. But now I know that what takes even more courage is to find the grace to accept the roles that are meaningful to us. This isn't to say that we should abandon our obligations to others, but rather that we should enter into a covenant with ourselves to make our actions meaningful. During several discussions I've had with Reverend Aaron, he's referenced a book by Parker Palmer entitled Let Your Life Speak. Though Let Your Life Speak bears many messages, I believe the most important one lies in the title itself. Letting your life speak is about making your life your message. It's not something you have to chase down, it's something that you have to grow. Allowing our lives to speak is the ultimate marriage of soul and role, and challenges us to live with intention. However, living with intention doesn't necessarily mean that we have to change what we're doing, just why we're doing it. Sam, a very good friend of mine, just started his freshman year at Brandeis on a sizable scholarship after graduating as a valedictorian and the recipient of an international baccalaureate diploma. I mention Sam because he sees every opportunity as a chance to interweave soul and role. Though following the same rigorous schedule as everyone else, Sam strove to make his every commitment and action contribute to his goal of becoming a professional musician and mathematician. If you walked into the doors of George Mason High School on an average day, I think you might think that you'd stumbled into a set of The Walking Dead. While it's true that my classmates and I don't get enough sleep, what makes us zombies is that we live without passion. But while all of us were on a quest for brains, Sam was on a journey to pursue what his heart led him to. I don't think that there was a day of school that passed that didn't begin with Sam bounding up to tell me all about the newest proof that he solved or obscure metal band that he discovered. And while it was annoying sometimes, he was so excited about all that he was doing that it made it worthwhile. He found success on his own terms. Even though, as John Bellion sings in Morning in America, the great expectations got us all imitating, the worst thing that we can do in trying to interweave soul and role is to not even try. Living with intention doesn't necessarily mean that we have to reconsider what we're doing, just why we're doing it. I hope that each of us can give ourselves the grace to live with passion and pursue endeavors that feed our souls. As Parker Palmer put it, before I can tell my life what I want to do with it, I must listen to my life telling me who I am.